Whoops, that was the wrong thing to turn on OBS. But hello everyone. I'm gonna put music on now just so I just don't have to like remind myself. But hello everyone, to people just joining, to people who have been waiting, and to everyone watching things back on the VOD, whether it's here on Twitch or on YouTube, depending on when you're watching this. Hello, welcome to another stream, and welcome back to Game Dev Sunday. Now, last week was kind of more of a whole, I suppose, I guess reflective kind of stream, looking back at like what we've done so far, and also looking at, overall structure of what would be expected within a game design document, and essentially trying to kind of use that to inform the direction of where we take things moving forward. And one area that I decided that would probably help try and bring things together a little bit more, make things feel a little bit more alive, and so on and so forth, would be sound design. Now, the most that I did with that during last stream, because I wasn't in, like, the right sort of, like, rhythm to, actually consider doing the sound design there and then on that stream last week. I'm also opening the window for Ryder just in case we ever need to do it, and also or do stuff within Ryder, and also just to sort of like go over things. And yes, if you can hear that coming through the mic, that is a hardback book that I have. It's a surprise tool that's going to help us later, and by later I mean hopefully very soon, because I have some little plans involving this book and some other things that are in my room. You know what I mean. If you don't know what I mean, then I'll explain it. But in terms of what we decided to get done last week, sorry about that, peaked a little bit on OBS, but I decided to start implementing, or at the very least, laying out the sound effects that we needed for the enemy and the player, and from there, essentially create the values for, like, actually, storing what sound effects we want to play, which are stored within a U object type called sound cue, and that essentially defines like the behavior of audio playback itself, and so on and so forth. We defined the projectile attack sound, the jump sound when the player jumps, the sound that the player makes when they're damaged, a normal landing sound, which could just be like a gentle little pat or thud or something along those lines, the stomp landing sound, which needs to have a bit more weight. So a lot more weight, a lot more crunched. Not so much crunch, but it needs to have a bit more, like, it needs to be a bit deeper in terms of, like, a landing sound. Air dash sound, which could be, like, a simple whoosh. Wall jump sound, which could be, like, a simple, like, or something along those lines. I could possibly get very inventive with how I use some of the things that I'm going to try and make sound effects with today, depending on like how I hit it, what angle I hit it at, and so on and so forth. But aside from that, we have the wall slide sound, which could be like a sort of like it's not easy to get the sound effect to come through on OBS. Okay, I guess that worked. Though that does kind of hurt my fingers to do. So we have that. And also the player death sound. So those are the ones that I outlined for the player. And in terms of making sure, there are places where these sound effects can play if, these variables are populated with a sound cue, I made sure to you know, have them play where they're needed. But in terms of like footsteps and so on, and like dash sound effects and whatnot, that is... Oh gosh, sorry about that. That is more so, of course, you know, dependent on having that play with animation notifiers. And I briefly pointed this out during stream last week. But if I need to point it out again, then so be it, because I don't mind going over things again. So back into the engine we go. If we just go into animations, retargeted, player, we'll do run forward because, you know, that's the main one. So within animation files themselves, you can have animation notifiers that can be triggered at certain frames within an animation. So you can have like all notify states and so on. That's a bit different. But animation notifiers can do certain things at a given point. Unreal has a few built in by default. So pause clothing simulation, play Niagara particle effect, play just a regular particle effect, play a sound, which is the one that we're mostly interested in, because that will just, you know, do what it says on the tin. Reset clothing simulation, reset dynamics, and resume clothing simulation. Now, as I said, the one that we're mostly interested in is play sound, though there is also the possibility that we may need to, you know, do something different with an animation notify, depending on, you know, what happens. With custom notifiers called skeleton notifiers, we can click new notify, and it adds it, like, not just to, like, this, not to the animation itself, it adds it to the model's skeletal mesh. And anything that's on the object's skeletal mesh, you could just access it if you're using it, say, within the animation blueprint. So if we go back into the player's animation blueprint, where are you? There you are, animation blueprint. And it's going to take a moment. And then if I say test notify, we have event anim notify underscore test notify. And that is essentially that skeleton notify that we created, just to demonstrate what you could do with it. But yes, that was like the little lowdown on anim notifies. But yes, in terms of how we're going to trigger the running / sprinting sound effects, we're gonna have to use it within like playing animation notifies and whatnot, or I'm not 100% sure. Like, we could either just, you know, have it just be like a footstep, like, sound that plays like on, you know, the notify being triggered, or, you know, have it be a looping sound effect that plays whenever they're running or sprinting. Who knows? Who knows? But that's the approach we're going to take with the running and sprinting sound effects when we get around to making them. Now, in terms of actually making them, I'm going to be doing something a little different. And you may have noticed the Audacity logo down in my hotbar. And the reason is because when I tried doing this previously in terms of like sound design for one project, one personal project I was trying to work on. Pick up. Oh yeah, laser charge. Hit, draft. Yep. Now I remember. Right, so... But yeah, what I was essentially doing was... I was getting, like, sounds from, like, different household objects, and I was, you know, recording them. And then also... like, in some parts, layering different ones together, and then sort of adjusting them. And I can't remember, like, what this sound effect sounded like. I'm gonna have to set my, my audio capture to Audacity, I believe. Yeah. I'm gonna have to set it to this one specifically. I can't remember what the sound effect sounds like. It's been a few years. Oh yeah, it sounded like that. I think, if I remember correctly, this might have been like hitting like a frying pan or dinging on like a mug. Which, you know, makes sense. And then this one was... Oh yeah, this was like the FUD. This was the FUD. And I can't remember what I did to that, but the point is that within sound design itself, one of the key elements, like, aside from just getting the sound effects themselves, is layering them, tinkering with, like, different sort of, like, things like attenuation, distortion, pitches, and so on, and seeing what that does. I wonder if there's another one that I had from, like, a few years ago. Open... Laser charge up, effects. Oh wait, no, I partly did that, but I also gathered sound effects from elsewhere too on the internet. Oh wait, no, I didn't. Right, I was sampling stuff. Yeah, so I was sampling sound effects from the internet too. So that's what I was doing. Right, so I wasn't completely doing that stuff with things in my house. I know I tried it once or twice, but then I also resorted to just like, sampling sound effects from elsewhere, and then making the adjustments there. But, and here's the thing, I do want to try and give it a go myself this time around. Because I feel like it would be a pretty neat, like, little experiment, in my opinion. So, how do I add another audio track? So, file, edit, all view tracks. Oh, add new. Mono. I don't know if this is like a mono. Oh, this is a stereo track. Right. Now I understand. Okay, cool. So, today I'm just going to be, you know, trying to have a chilled time, exploring different ways of, like, making some of these sound effects, and, like, experimenting with the different things in my room, and if not just in my room, then getting things from the kitchen and seeing what the fuck I can make with that, because, you know, it's experimentation. We're going to be trying something different and new and crazy. Not exactly crazy, but, you know, something different and new and unique and so on and so forth and all that junk. So, yeah, no, Opera is, like, playing music. Good, I was just double checking. But, yes, I'm trying to think. So, I do want to try and get the footsteps done, like, first. last. I do want to get the footsteps. God. Sorry. But yes, I want to get the footsteps done. Because now that I think about it, it would be as simple as just, like, recording the footsteps sound, then just, like, as, like, an individual, like, little, like, one, like, single instant kind of sound, and then just... You know what I mean, you know what I mean. So, I'm just gonna take the hardback book I have, and I guess in terms of, say, like, the normal running sound, it would have to be, like, not, like, a heavy sound, but it still has to have some weight to it. So... that one would be for, like, the sprint sound. Right, I'm just trying to see what sounds right before, like, if... like, chat and anyone watching things back, if you can tell, like, what would or wouldn't make a good, like, little footstep sound for the sprint, then, just... But yes, like, if you have any comments about, like, whether or not a thing sounds, like, light or heavy enough, or, like, if there's a better idea you could have for making some of these sound effects, then please, don't hesitate to let me know, because it would be pretty cool, you know, pretty neat to know. So, right, so we're gonna try recording this one, right? 3, 2... Right, let's see, how does this sound? Okay, I can barely hear that, which kind of sounds right, but... So, edit... Oh, effect. Reverse, repair, phaser, pull stretch, normalize, noise reduction, fade in, fade out, echo, distortion, tempo, bass and treble, amplify. Is it amplify? Oh, good lord, no. That was too much. That's still a bit too much. Right, effect, amplify. So I know now it's amplify, but I need to rein that in a little bit. Right, so that's... To be fair, I should probably turn down, like, music and stuff. If we're wanting to hear, like, sound effects and whatnot, then... There we go. Right. Just to double check. Right. So that... How do I make it sound, like, crunchy-ish? Hmm. How do I change? Hmm. Would it be? Hmm. Oh gosh. PS1 audio quality. Right. Format 16-bit PCM. Let me think. Save lossless copy of project. Okay, so now that we formatted it to this, let's see, effect. Do I want to distort it or compress it? I could compress it. Oh wait, no, that's distortion. Effect, compressor. I don't understand this. Ah. Right, so compressor. That didn't really do any. That just made it louder. That just kind of acted like an amplifier. Full stretch, noise reduction, loudness invert, graphic EQ, echo, distortion. But real, why can't I just like? At the moment, when using like compressed, like what I want to be able to do is to like make it sound like crunchy stuff. Noise gate, low pass filter, high pass filter, delay, clip effects. Right. Echo, fade in, fade out. I keep trying to do like manage factory presets, defaults. What the hell does the noise floor even do? Hmm. How to make low quality order? How to? Dynamic range control. What? Something tells me. Hmm. Hold on. Let me look into a thing quickly. I do wish Audacity would not attempt to try and... Because I have not updated Audacity for a while. So... or at the very least, I've had this version of Audacity for a long while. Okay, so I have updated Audacity. This looks very different. Uh, um, tracks, add new stereo track, format, 16-bit. What's the rate? Yeah, it's still that. Right, okay, so that's how you set... Ooh, hello, heater. Full of pizza and milkshake. Are you not feeling good? Are you feeling too full? Also, I had just updated Audacity, because... Yeah, no, I just updated it. The last time I used it, it had the old UI. And now I realize, oh wait, shit, for some of the effects and stuff, I'm missing presets that only exist in, like, the up-to-date versions of it. So, yeah, odd stuff, odd stuff. Anyway, I'm going to get the little FUD that I'm going to use for the footsteps again in 3, 2... And then I'm going to take this effect, amplify. Alright, there we go. I'm going to carve this bit at the end. And cut this bit at the beginning, because that's... Right. Mm-hmm. So now, if I can go, so effect, compressor. Oh. Oh, this has way more, like, like adjusting the settings actually matters in the compressor now. So presets and settings. So factory presets, we have modern, glue compressor, gentle, beat booster, deep dive master, beefy master, make it right master, brick wall, lead vocals, fat vocals, power vocals, vocal control, vocal touch up. I don't think you should touch up the vocals, that's harassment. Voice memos, balancer, podcast / radio, piano, climax, impulse. What impulsor? Great impact sound effects, great body sound effects. For reference, I sent you what it looked like the last time I used it. Okay, let me take a look, because it's going to be... Oh, good lord, what the... Why are the buttons round? Is it... Oh, wait, that's probably because, like, Windows 7. Why are the buttons round in that UI? It looks weird. Anyway, I want to try the compressor with the... Right, great impact. Let's see. To be fair, I should have done, like... So, what does it sound like before? What is... Control Y. And what does it sound like now? That was Windows 7, bro. Oh, good lord. Right, so I think we go... We compressor... We choose the great impact... Or the great body. It could be the great body. Great body might be better. And I might want to change the rate. Because after that, I didn't use it during college, then Logic Pro on... Then had Logic Pro on Mac and Uni. Oh yeah, you did. Okay, so the rate... Did better, but also I need to re-record it now. What the hell? Right. 3, 2... Oh wait, I pressed the play button, not the record button. Shit. Okay, that sounds a lot that sounds a bit crunchier, but that sounds like very low quality now. Right, maybe that low is not so good. Maybe did this. Oh, and now I have to what this for? I'm trying to do the footstep sound effects first, for like running and sprinting, but I'm trying to tweak with settings and make sure that's right. I used one of my old art books because it's got a hardback. One of my old like drawing art like sketch pads and whatnot because it's got a hardback. And depending on like other sounds I could... I could also like run the back of my knuckles on it to make like a weird like screeching like scratching kind of sound. Though that does kind of hurt. Right, so maybe this one because changing pitch and tempo. No, I want to change it to D4. Right, maybe it also needs to be a little softer too. Limiter, normalize. It still has a bit of impact, which is... EQ and filters. How would I make it sound like... How would I... Like, the only thing I could guess is, like, just use amplify and reduce the volume, but... This is going to take a while to get to wrap my head around it. Oh, wait. Okay, shit, I did too much. You know what? I should have done this as this bit as a window capture rather than a display capture. Hold on. And then if I close display capture, where are you? There we go. Right. Though now... But now it doesn't show, like, the extra menus and stuff when I'm doing things. Unless when I'm saving files and stuff, I turn off the display capture when I'm just generally working, because, you know, I don't want you seeing, like, my name in some of my files and stuff. This PC. Real project sounds. Right. So footstep draft 1. So I've called it footstep draft 1. Export audio on my computer. .wav stereo signature project browse. Right. Export. Oh, right. So turn back on display capture. I'm going to go into the project, and now I'm going to go where I've saved my, because I exported, because I'm not going to use this as like a little final sound effect, but this is at the very least going to be me testing things with it. So I don't think I have a folder for this yet. I don't. No. Unless I do. So game. Info. No. I did not have a folder for sound effects yet in this project. Well, now we do. So sound effects, player. We're gonna have a subfolder for the player, a subfolder for enemies, and then I suppose the enemy subfolder would have like different subfolders for different enemy types and whatnot when we get around to it. Because you know that's going to take time. But yes, so we have the player sound effects folder. So I'm going to drag in the WAV file that I just made. Right, and I should probably also change, I'm gonna have to keep going between the two. So that sound effect is now, you know, being stored in the project, you know, as a sound wave type file. However, if we want it to be usable for the player, or for like within the run animation, we need to make this into a sound cue. And what we can do is we can right click it and we can just go under sound wave actions and we can create a cue. And that just creates a sound cue. Player footstep cue. And now within a sound cue in Unreal, there is a few things we can do with it. We can just, you know, leave it as it is, you know, make it just a bog standard, boring, kind of one note-ish sound effect that doesn't do anything. Or you're learning, yes. That doesn't do anything unique or special. It's just very basic and standard. It will just play the sound effect by itself. Or now we have a whole bunch of different options for, you know, what we can do. We can use attenuation. I can't remember what... Oh yeah, branch nodes. I can't remember how you set parameters for branch nodes in sound cues, but you can have a sound that's placed into the true branch and a sound cue that's placed, or a sound wave that's placed into the false node. And depending on, you know, whether or not it's true or false, it will just output this out to the output, or whatever other thing that you need to output it to. I do not... Plays chart... Oh yeah, so concatenator plays, like, nodes sequentially, so it plays nodes one after another. A continuous modulator just continuously modulates the sound wave. Crossfade by distance, crossfade by parameter. There, you can also have a delay added to a sound cue. I don't know what dialogue... Sound loader contains a reference to the dialogue table to pull from and be played. I still don't know what that does. Now, the main thing that we're interested in is the modulator. Now, what the modulator does is it allows you to essentially set a minimum pitch. So a minimum pitch for the sound wave that's being, you know, hooked up into the input, a maximum pitch, a minimum volume, and a maximum volume. And what this essentially means is that using the modulator, rather than just having, you know, the same old, like, standard, like, sound effect, which in this case would just be the same old footstep sound, which would always sound like this. Instead, we can hook it up to a modulator, and then hook this up into the output. And now I'm going to set the maximum volume to be something like 2, for example. This is not the value we're going to be using for this. I'm just doing this as, you know, as a demonstration. So for the pitch minimax and the volume minimax, whenever we call the sound cue, it will randomize a value between like the pitch min max and the volume min max to use for the pitch and the volume, and then that will be sent to the output. So now that we have this hooked up to the modulator, if we play the cue, it's not easy to tell. Hold on. Maybe if I adjust both of these. This is probably easier to tell because it's actually adjusting the pitch more, in a more pronounced way. But yes, no, that's essentially what a modulator does. Now, now I'm gonna say, maybe 1.2, and then a 0.75 minimum for the pitch. So what will we get when we play the cue? Yes, that's happening. Cool. And as well as that, in the final output node itself, we will also have a volume multiplier and a pitch modifier. Now, I don't want a 0.75 volume multiplier because that's making it quieter. And then the pitch multiplier also, like, post modulator just, affects the overall output for the pitch too. So yes, essentially that's our first attempt at the footstep. I may go back to this later on in stream or in my own spare time, who knows. But I am, going to give a demonstration of how to use this now. So here we have what is currently the player's run animation. You've seen it before. You've seen it plenty of times when I've been, streaming this project, testing things out within this project, and so on and so forth. But yes, we've seen this plenty of times in the past. Now, if you can remember, in terms of, like, footsteps and we want each instance where the player character plants their foot to be where we call the sound effect, because we're not, we made it like a single like impact-ish kind of sound. We didn't make it like a sound effect that continuously, like, you play it once, it goes dudun 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 dudun, and then you play it again and it goes dudun 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 dudun. We made it a single like noise that when you play it, it just goes dun, and that's it. And what we want is for every time the player's foot touches the ground in this animation, at the very least, we want to use the play sound or play cue anim notify. So we'll get rid of this from here because we don't need this. Not at the moment, at the very least. And we want to check each, like, we want to comb the animation for when feasibly the player's foot or the player character's foot hits the ground. I'm gonna add a notify track, just so I can keep this clean from whatever this is here. Though I think this is actually like indicating where the player plants their, or where the character plants their foot down. So this might actually be pretty useful. So we want to add a play sound notify, and it's already got the player footstep cue. I didn't even. Oh wait, I think it's because I have it selected within the editor. If I didn't have a sound cue inserted in, like, not inserted, selected in the editor, then it wouldn't automatically populate the notify with that. So if I was to deselect this and then add the play sound, yes, then it wouldn't automatically populate this notify with the sound cue. We'd have to select it, manually. So player footstep cue. And what I want to do is I want to try and line this up. So now I'm going to go and reselect this because, having it instantly populate the notify is helpful. So I'm going to do this again. Play sound. Ah! Ah! And then add notify, play sound, and there we go. Right. Cool. So that will have gone well because, that's more direct by comparison to, playing it from the code and whatnot. Because that's actually directly happening from an animation that we are currently using. So, right. We now have footsteps. Though I could definitely adjust the volume multiplier for this because I now realize that I don't want it to sound nearly as loud as it does, because otherwise and it still sounds very heavy now that I think about it. What would it sound like at point 2? I feel like it would be very quiet. But it's pretty decent, though. As I said, it does sound very heavy, so I may definitely adjust it or make a different version of it later down the line, because it would be very helpful. Also, I know the ad break is starting in a minute, but I'm going to elect to take the break now because I need to go grab something and sort things out. So we will be back in a few minutes, chat. So hang on tight until then, and we'll be back soon. Whoops, right, and we're back. I did not mean to go to the starting soon screen, because, accidents, but, that was the first of the sound effects. So in terms of the sprint, I will probably do that, like, another time when I figure out how the hell I'm gonna handle the logistics of, you know, because if I'm using the same animation for the sprinting at the moment, which ideally I want to have a different animation for sprinting, somehow you opened overcooked instead of you're being haunted by the baking heater. You're being haunted by the pancakes and cakes and all the burgers and all the burritos and tacos. You're being haunted by the box-headed freak that works with you. The box-headed freak that works with you. This cube-headed motherfucker. Hey, Tom. Yes, he. I won't forget you, buddy. I won't forget you, buddy. Bring back memories, bring back. Also, I'm concerned by what you said in the group chat here. I may need to hold an intervention for you. I'm sorry. But yes, that was the first sound effect. Now we hide display capture again. Oh wait, no. I may need to hold an intervention heater because I am concerned about, you know, if that's happening at specific times on command, then I don't know what to say. A man can't get hard in his own hut. I'm not but if it's always at night at 11 o'clock, then surely that's a symptom of something bad. Right. Going to make a new Audacity project. I accidentally closed it. I accidentally closed the new one. Shush. It's a symptom of order within my schedule. You're just a hater. Listen. Embrace chaos. Embrace chaos. Let it be whenever. Don't just have order within a schedule. I mean, that is nice. My brain craves that too. But embrace chaos. How dare you? How dare you refuse to accept chaos? I was on. Oh yeah, no. No, I was on Team Order as well. But sometimes you just realize, man, sowing chaos sounds like a good fucking idea right now. Hmm. So now I'm thinking about it. Like in terms of like, I mean, sorry if I'm jumping off topic and stuff, but in terms of playthroughs and stuff. So at the moment we have the Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep level 1 playthrough, and we also just started Ghost Trick the other day, which I had fun during that first Ghost Trick stream the other day. I had fun doing all the little voices and, having my brain quickly get used to how, some of the puzzles can be solved, and then also struggling to think, how the hell do I get to this one thing? This flag doesn't go high enough. But I had fun with that. In terms of things that are next, I'm not 100% certain because you know, my brain. Oh yes, no. In terms of next steps for like a playthrough after we finish the Birth by Sleep level 1 playthrough, because of course, as usual, I do want there to be a bit of a gap of time between that playthrough and when I eventually get to Dream Drop Distance level 1. Um, so I was possibly thinking there was a thing that I was wanting to do last year before the expansion for it came out. Originally, I wanted to do just a new like base game run of Elden Ring, just playing for the game from the beginning again, because I wanted to make what was essentially a funny punchy melee only build to use in the Shadow of the Erdtree DLC, which I would probably also just play on stream. However, I never got around to doing that because of, other stuff happening last year in terms of streams and playthroughs and shit. So, that's a possibility. There's also playing the other Dark Souls games as well, because I have 2 and 3. I don't have 1 remastered. It is on sale on CD keys at the moment, so that is a possibility that I can consider. That's an option. If I also take a look at the machine that turns my money into unplayed games, where is my mouse on the Steam library? What is going on? Audacity was, for some reason, when I went over to my other monitor to like scroll through my Steam library, for some reason my mouse was just completely hidden. That was fucking weird. Anyway, in terms of other stuff I could play on stream, um I could just, use it as an excuse to play Ultra Kill. Um, use it as an excuse to, I don't know. I mean, to be fair, I haven't played Hades 2 for a while on stream, or just for a while in general, and I need to get back into it because I love that game. Um, but it's just finding the time, amongst everything else to play it and stuff. There's a few other games too, like there's the Batman Arkham games, which I got the Arkham Arkham Knight, Arkham City, and Arkham Asylum games for like very cheap way back in January. Um, I also have Skyrim Special Edition, which I haven't played. There's also Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D remake, though I don't know if I'd do that on stream or if I would just, do that in my own spare time, because not everything has to be for streams. It's a thing that I need to get into my head. Although it is nice to play, like, do some playthroughs on stream, it's also just kind of nice to just do things off a stream, at times. I mean, Bug Snacks is also an option for on or off stream. I know I'm supposed to be making sound effects and stuff, but I'm listing off options for future playthroughs and stuff that I could, dip my toes into, see what works, what doesn't work. But there is a fair bit that I have in my library, not just my Steam library, but also my heater. I said I would get to it eventually. I will get to it. I promise, I will get to it. And I don't know, and I don't know how, I don't know how kindly Nintendo will take towards me emulating. Because I'm pretty sure, like, I don't know. But maybe they also possibly execute your YouTube videos if they find that you're emulating. I have no idea. I have no goddamn clue. It's why it would be such a great benefit if, you know, they had DK64 on NSO, because I would not have to live in fear. I would not have to live in fear. But yes, options for playthroughs and stuff. You know, just a little tangent I wanted to go on. But anyway, back to Audacity. I want to do like wall jump sound effects. So, I already made a new I made a second new project apparently. Whoops. Anyway, tracks. We need a new stereo track. Rate 16,000. 16-bit PCM. Right, so in terms of like wall jump sound effects, the only thing that I can think of which would work is like this sound that I'm getting when I'm flicking like my finger on the back of the book. So, but you know, it has to be, because if I do it like flick my finger straight into like the hardback cover, it makes too loud of a sound. But if I do it like on its side, like it doesn't like make anything impactful or loud enough at all. It just sounds like it doesn't even come through on OBS. So that might do. Hold on. Sounds too sharp, I think. You could be right. You could be right. I also need to change game audio back to Audacity. Or maybe if it's like more of a backhanded like sort of like brush across the back of the book. Who knows? The mind boggles. Hold on. Let me think. Let me grab a second book. Wait, what if I drop it? It needs to be a bit more of a thump, I think. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So let me grab... Maybe try flicking the paper inside. Oh yeah, good point. However, I have also grabbed 2 more notebooks to use, you know, for other stuff. So if I slam 2 notebooks together, that's a bit too loud. Because the hardback sounds like this. However, the flicking the paper sounds like this. It also depends on what part of the finger I allow to hit the surface too. Doesn't sound all that different, really. But if... Oh, wait. Hold on. What if... Because I just realized something with just, like, lightly tapping a notebook onto the paper. What if we try this? Wait, hold on. That wasn't loud enough. Or softer. Oh, wait. The way I envision it, like how I'm just bashing this notebook against this art book, is like a child bashing two, like, little, like, plastic cubes together. Instead, I'm just bashing two books together. Hmm. Or if I hit one notebook against another notebook, rather than hitting one notebook against the art book. Because I have a good few notebooks. From my time at university and also my time after university. Hmm. Wait, hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. The gears might be turning. Maybe. I'm not. You got me tapping random shit on my desk. Oh, I love it. Let's get chat involved by having them tap shit. Wait, hold on. Wait. I think. No, that I did not get the impact I wanted. Right. Wait, what if I slam, like, the spines of the books together? But rather than having them angled like this, have them, like, aligned like this. I think that might be good. Hold on. Kind of hard to hear on mic. Whoops! So I have that there. And then if I go into amplify, because so we can at least hear it a bit louder. So it sounds like this. Now, I'm not sure if this sounds a bit too sharp or if this sounds like it has a bit of, like, a fair, like, kicking weight to it. Like, how... Now I'm thinking of, like, other wall jump sound effects. How would I describe, you know... It's like a kind of sound for some of them, like in Mario and whatnot. I am making absolutely zero sense. Hmm. Right, so I'm gonna return it to what it was. Only amplify it slightly. And then compressor. Do I want this to be great impact or great body? I'll say great impact. Okay, maybe that was a bit too much. Effect. Compressor. Presets and settings. What the fuck does glue compressor? Oh. Gentle. That might be right. Okay. Once again, display capture. Be gone! So I can save this and not, you know, dox myself. Right. And now we go back into the project and I'm going to go back into the folder that I have for this stuff. Ooh! Ugh, that's me. Again. Right. We're going to drag this one in as well. It's going to be just like the footstep one, and we're going to create a sound cue, which is going to be player wall jump underscore cue. And now I'm also going to add a modulator to this. And I'm not going to have too much variance for the wall jump sound effect, maybe. Or maybe I'll possibly forego it entirely, who knows. But... Okay, but... Right, so that cue is set up. We're going to go into the player this time, because this is triggered from within the player's code. just to remind people, we go into where wall jump is. Yes. So, or is it? Oh wait, no, I have it here. Like play sound cue, like for the wall jump, and that does play a wall sound. And if you can remember what the play sound cue method does, it simply takes a sound cue in as its parameter. If the in sound cue is valid, if it has a value set for it, then it will play the sound and also print this thing to the output log that's saying, oh, it's playing the sound cue. And if it is not valid, if it doesn't have a value set for it, then it will say the sound cue has not been populated. So, because we're passing in particular, the wall jump sound cue, which can be set from the player character's defaults, we're going to go into the blueprint. Going to go player sound effects, and where what we want is the wall jump sound. So we take player wall jump cue, we throw that in there, and then now we've got wall jump sound effects. Now, they may not be ideal. I, again, could also replace them with something better. But for the time being, it's okay. Though I could definitely, you know, reduce the overall volume. Just so they're, you know, not as pronounced. So, I'm going to set the volume multiplier to 0.4. But yes, can't hear any. Oh wait, I forgot to change game audio again. This is gonna get. I'm gonna have to duplicate game, or I'm gonna have to make a second or another audio capture so I can, you know, keep both Audacity and Unreal on there. Right. Right. Unreal Audio. Yes. So Unreal Audio should now do it. Right. Okay. That was my mistake. My apologies. Should also drag this down so it's... Right. Should probably turn this up in OBS as well so it's clearer to hear. So footsteps are there. And then for the wall jump, though I could definitely either like reduce the pitch, because I feel like maybe reducing the pitch might make it sound a bit better, because that may be a bit too high. And that's literally just a case of going back into Audacity and yeah. Oh, then it... Right. So do. Right, audacity, effect, pitch and tempo, change pitch. So I don't know how many semitones I want to reduce it by. I'll reduce it by 2. I'll reduce it by 24 semitones. It's sounding alright, but maybe that was a bit too much. Hmm. Wait, let me undo. Change pitch. And instead of 24 halftones, I want to change it by 12. Yeah, that might still be a bit too high. So, change pitch. Change it by 36 halftone or half step semitones. That might be better. That might be better. Right, we're going to replace this file. We'll go back into Unreal. And then if I go into the sound effects, I should be able to re-import it. So... yeah, re-imported it. Cool. So now, if we try this out... let me just double check, make sure it's still coming through. Yep, that is coming through. I think the wall jump is sounding a lot better than it did. Pitched maybe a little higher. Okay. Right, it's almost there. It is almost there. So I reduced it by 36. So what if... change... rate, effect, pitch and tempo, change pitch. Is there a way to reduce it by... so like 24 was a bit much. No, 24 was okay-ish, but it wasn't it wasn't enough. Then 36 was a bit too much. Can I do 32? Oh, right. So instead of 20, what about 30? So it changes it to E2. I think that sounds a bit more like it, I think. Right. Reimport. I think that might be it. I think that might be the one. I think that might be the pitch. I really like the walking around, actually. It's like nice, like subtle, like little buds. It doesn't sound accurate for walking, but it does feel like something you'd hear in a game like this. Yeah. Hmm. Like I did say, like if I needed to revisit like the footstep sound, then I could do that. Because maybe I need something that's a little bit more subtle. Um. Hmm. Let me think. Let me think. Wait. Hold on. Let me actually remix this sound effect then. Or let me retry this, doing this sound effect then. Right. Back into Audacity. Make a new. Gonna add the track. Gonna format it to 16-bit and set the rate to 16,000 hertz. Wait, hold on. Let me think. Let me think. I'm gonna take a few steps out of my chair for a moment, just to make, just to. Let me think. Okay, right. Just to get a proper feel for it. Hmm. Okay, that's a bit too heavy. No. No! It's still too heavy. Still very... Oh. Still very heavy. Right, let me think. Whoops. What the fuck? Oh, that's a looping region. Oh. I don't want it to loop. Anyway, oh no, that's not what I want at all. Lord. It's a fine balance. It's a fine balance trying to learn, like, what does and doesn't work. So... Amplify... How did I swear to God? How did I get that wrong? Oh wait, because I need to have the bloody... It's the amplification that actually needs to go below 0. And I didn't have it there yet. Oh. And now there's nothing. 7? I did it again. Effect, volume and compression. Distortion and modulation. Wawa. Wawa. Vocoding. If I vocoded the sound effect, this is what it would sound like. If I vocoded it with those default settings. That might be better. Right. Going to export audio as... I'll just take that and then I'll change it to draft 2. Now I'm curious, what the fuck does Wawa do? See, I can't tell because I've made it very quiet. Effect. Amplify. Oh god. Oh, this was a mistake. That was weird. Right, but now back into the project. We're gonna want to drag in Footstep Draft 2. Gonna create the queue for it. We're gonna do player footstep 2 underscore queue. We're gonna take a modulator, plug that in, and then I'm gonna set the pitch max to 1.2, volume max to maybe 1.2 as well. Save that. Or maybe to 1.5 and bring the volume minimum up to 1.2. And then back into the player blueprint, we're going to go into the thing. Oh wait, no, not here. We're going to go into the animation and then change it to player footstep 2. Player footstep 2. Player footstep 2. Footstep 2. Again, another footstep 2. And can you guess what it's going to be for the last one? Footstep 3. No, it's footstep 2. Up, is this YouTube saying, are you still watching? Yes. It was. Now it's a bit more subtle. Oh, whoops. Anyway, so readjusted the footsteps. We have the wall jump sound. Now, I'm trying to think. We'd have something similar for the actual jump sound, but I'm... Because of course when Mario jumps in Mario 64, he like makes a noise. He goes... "Ah." Like, he does like his little like Mario noises and whatnot. He's like... "Ha! Wah! Yahoo!" and stuff like that. But... Spyro, there's only like a kind of mild like whoosh sound effect, and I don't know about Crash. Let me think. I guess I'm gonna have to look at the long play archive. Archive, the long play archive. Why was I saying archive? I'm trying to listen in on this without making it too loud. Okay, so listening to like the long play of Crash 1 from like PS1, I don't think Crash had a jump sound effect. Hmm. And that begs the question, does there really, like, if I think about it, if I was to just jump on the spot right now, you're probably not going to be able to hear me, do this properly, but I'm just going to do this here anyway. The only kind of, like, quote-unquote sound that there is like, maybe a slight little whoosh. And aside from that, there's nothing else aside from landing. So... I have to consider my options here for, like, whether or not we need a jump sound effect or not. Uh... Hmm... Like, it's curious. It's a conundrum. It's a bit of a... It's an interesting case. Hmm... Right. Also, ad break starts in a few minutes again, chat. Um, so... The next thing I want to do is, like, landing sound effects. Which I think, in the case of, like, a regular regular landing sound effect is literally just, like, a light kind of thud. Um, but then, of course, for the stomp landing, it has to be, as I've already pointed out, it has to be heavier. It has to have a lot more impact and weight to it. So, hmm. Decisions, decisions, decisions. Right. Anyway, back into Audacity. I'm going to make a going to make you're going to enjoy the horn I put on my new... Oh, did you put on a musical horn? Please tell me you put on a musical horn. I think he put on a musical horn, chat, and people watching things back. Also, on a general note, like, while I have this, like, one sketchbook on me, it is kind of interesting going back through, stuff that I drew previously and thinking, wow, this is, like, part of my journey in art, and I haven't, but I haven't had the time to, get back into it again. Which is kind of sad, because I definitely need a healthy outlook for stuff, at times, so it would probably do me well to, push myself to get back into drawing again. Anyway, the ad break is about to start, and I'll see you in a few minutes, chat. So, hang on tight. Okay, good lord, that ad break went by in a flash. That felt like it didn't last any time at all. Like, that felt way too quick. Also, Heater, I'm asking the real questions in the group chat. I'm asking the important questions. God. So, landing sound effects. We need to do the normal one and also the stomp landing sound effect. Right. Okay. So landing sound effects. So rather than just slamming my hand, I could use my fist instead. So right. I need to hold this like this. Or maybe that's a bit too, like, papery sounding. Maybe I go back to the hardcover. Hmm. See, that might be... Hold on. Let's try again. Let's try again. Format. I need to format this anyway. I forgot to set the rate and stuff. Ooh. Right. Seems a bit heavy for, like, a normal, like, landing sound. Wait, whoops. See, that's a bit softer. That is a bit softer. So maybe I take this, soften it a little bit, and then we use this for the landing. I feel like for other sound effects, like being hit, we'd need like the impact, the body, and an impact, a body, and a tail for the sound effect. Right. Pitch, tempo, tune filters, bass and treble. Right. So if I adjust the bass, but if I increase the bass. Oh, good lord! Ugh! I bass boosted. Shit! What did I expect would happen? But good lord! I'm sorry, chat and people watching Swings back. That caught me off guard too, but oh lord. I bass boosted what I'm using for the fucking landing sound effect. It's it sounds like a fart. No, the smelly landing. So do that, adjust the volume. Oh shit, that was a bit too much. Right, that might have been a little bit too much. That was literally a minute change. That was pointless. Save project. Normal landing draft 1. Normal landing draft 1. And then we export the audio as a WAV file. WAV. I'm sorry. So normal landing draft 1 .wav. Then create queue, player, normal landing queue. Then we go into the sound queue. And I'm just taking stuff. Just a moment, chat. Oh, gosh. Right, okay. Since we don't hear the landing sound too often, I'm not going to do anything with the modulation. I'm going to leave the modulation as it is. I am going to adjust the volume multiplier so that it's, you know, just a standard 1. And then we're going to throw this into the... So I'm going to say player, normal landing queue. I'm going to go here. Then again, the pitch could be adjusted. So we're going to go into the output. I'm going to pitch it down to 0.65. Let's see how that sounds. Right, that sounds a bit too, like, blocky now. So pitch it up slightly to maybe 0.8. We're going to pitch it up to point 8. And now, to properly prove that, you know, this will only play when we land normally, and the other one will eventually play when we do a stomp. So, this landing sound effect is, of course, playing when we just, you know, jump and then land normally. However, if we try to stomp, no landing sound effect is being played, which means our implementation for, you know, checking or doing things like, do this on the landed or the landed method, depending on whether or not we were stomping before we landed, then do this or do that, is, you know, very effective with playing the sound cues. So now we can make our stomp landing sound effect. And also I don't know why I just have this random 50 pence at my desk. I don't know why I put it there. It's just yeah, no, I should get back to that. We need to now do the heavier stomp landing sound effect. So we're going to make another one. Close the old one. And then add the Turlek stereo 16-bit rate. Right. Now, it has to be heavier. So maybe I could drop it, but maybe that might be a bit much. Or I drop a book, and then we adjust things from there and, you know, see what we can make. So, 3, 2... Now, cut out the start, because we don't want that empty space there. We certainly don't want this all the way there. So now, we have this. If I could actually get it to, you know, play from the start. So, of course, we need to... Bastard. Right. I'm sorry. I want to see what this sounds like bass boosted. I'm so sorry, chat and people watching things back. And Heater, I am especially sorry to you for what I'm about to do. And I'm sorry to myself what I'm going to defile my ears with. Oh fuck. That one sounded even more like a fart. What the? Evil fart. Wait, what if I adjust the treble? I'm not sure I like that. Wait, what does it sound like if it's fully treble boosted? Ugh, no, I don't like that. Right, we'll see how this... So this is for the heavier stomp landing. Save project. Stomp landing draft 1. Right. Maybe I adjust it again. Oh, wait, repeating bass and treble just repeats the same parameters. Right, maybe I reduce the treble even more? That sounds about right. Save project. I'm gonna export it. And then we're gonna bring it into the engine. We'll see how this sounds within the gameplay context. And then if it doesn't sound good enough, then we just, keep adjusting it. We iterate, we keep adjusting. Create queue, player, stomp, landing, queue. Right. And again, because we're not hearing the stomp landing sound effect too often, we don't really need to do anything with the modulation. So I'm going to automatically throw this in. And I think when it loads it in for the first time, it does kind of take a moment. And now I realize there's a bit of a discrepancy with the quality of the normal landing. Like, it still sounds like spacey and tinny, kind of. So, let me open the normal landing. What is... Oh! 16-bit, 16,000 hertz. Yeah, it's still... It's got the same... I think it's because of the treble. Let's go to pitch and tempo, EQ and filters, bass and treble. Let's go... Ugh, gosh. Right, and then export again. We do that again, replace this. And then we go back into the engine and we re-import. Where is normal landing? I will adjust the volume in the sound cue. Because that's a bit too quiet. Right, so we've got footsteps. Wall jump. Landing and stump landing. Yeah, but I like these sound effects so far. It's taking shape. Right, now let's look at Blueprint and see what else there is. So, projectile attack, air dash. We do not have a wall slide. Let me think. Let me think. Let me think, let me think, let me think, think. I don't know why I broke into song. Right. So, let me think. So for a good, like, hit sound effect. Right, so it needs 3 parts. It needs the impact, the body, I keep getting distracted. um, okay. So it needs an impact, it needs a body, and it needs a tail. Um, I need to try and find this one video that I looked at fucking 2 years ago. Um, no, how to make. How to make a. Would it be how to make? Yes, this is the one. I found it. Hmm. Let me think. Okay, so I have to think. I have to. Right, in terms of a hit sound effect, I have ideas. I have ideas. I need to grab like a thing or two to make this a reality. So gonna create a new project in Audacity, and we are going to. Okay. Anyway, as I said, I need to grab the thing. So I have like the books to slam together to give more of like an impact, but I don't have something that gives me like a meaty like punch kind of hit like um except maybe like hitting like a stack of papers perhaps. Also, I opened this sketchbook onto a diagram that I drew from like 2 years ago when Destiny 2 Lightfall had like not long since that had released, that expansion had released for Destiny 2, and it was the contest mode raid for Root of Nightmares, and I was drawing like a fucking diagram of the third encounter in my sketchbook using like a marker pen. I don't know why I was doing that. But yeah, and then I need something that I can use as like a little like crunch kind of like for the like maybe like a plastic bowl. So we need 3 track. I feel like we need 3 tracks. So we're gonna need add new stereo track. We're gonna have to make 3 audio tracks, and we're gonna have to format them all and have them at the same rate. So tracks. No, actually, um, oh yeah, so yeah, definitely like scrunching and like crushing and squeezing a plastic bottle could help. Okay, so um I don't have a fat stack of like paper to use for like the initial like I mean I kind of do. Yeah, like if I hold the paper like this, like I don't have like a slab of meat to use. Right. So Right. I need to focus. I need to keep focused. My mind keeps wandering, and I'm trying to steer it back to where it needs to be, which is right here. So, I'm gonna get the main, like, hit sound. I'm going to get, make another audio track, another stereo track. Needs to be the same, 16-bit, 16,000 hertz. And then for this one, yeah, I'm gonna hit these two notebooks together like this. So and then for the third one, add new stereo track. And then once again, same setting, same format, same rate, you know, same everything, same old, same old. But there's nothing wrong with that. So the last thing is the... Right, so 2, 1. So now if we go back here, get rid of these bits here. Wait, actually, I'll bring this back here. Bring this back here. Because this is where it needs to be. Move it ever so... I cannot move it ever so slightly forward. And then bring that back. That's not where I want it. So now there were specific settings that I... Right. I'm going to have to find this video again, and I'm going to have to remember how I would take each part of the sound effect and adjust it. Hmm. How do I duplicate an audio track? Right. So right. Track, add new stereo track. I'm gonna make this the same format, same rate, because I think I should be able to paste this. Yes. So duplicate it, lower it by an so lower it by an octave. So wait, audacity lower track by an octave. Oh, so that's what an octave is. An octave is 12 semitones. Right. Okay. I am also learning. Change pitch. So reduce it by an octave, and then distortion, pitch and tempo, delay and reverb, distortion. Oh, good lord. Oh lord, no, 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 no. Okay, not drive. How do I remove effect? I'm gonna remove all the high and lows. It's gonna take a while because this is it says graphic EQ, but it's not a graph, it's a fucking audio slider. Ouch. Let's see. Volume. There we go. Right, this should be better. I think that sounds alright enough. Right, save project as... We'll save project, player hit draft 1 export audio. Right, and then back into the project. I was not here. Whoops. Make a queue, player hit underscore queue. Now, although we won't be hearing it too often, we will still be hearing it like every so often when we're playing the game. We will hear the sound effect every so often when we're playing the game. So the thing that we're going to do is we are going to use the modulator in this case. Right. Modulator. And we're going to take a pitch minimum of 0.75, a pitch maximum of 1.35, and no changes to the volume here. So I'm going to close all of these windows. It definitely could be like a better sound effect, considering the fact I was using, like, you know, a plastic bottle, and some books to make the hit sound effect. But I haven't. Oh wait, I haven't set it for the player yet. I don't think. And also, ads are starting again in a few minutes. So player damage sound. Oh, wait, I remember now. I'm thinking, wait, why isn't it playing again? It's to do with the code. Right, so if we go into... Bloody... Where is it? 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 Reset damage style and timer. Reset damage sound timer. Okay, noted. Do not land a car onto... Yeah, no, I wonder what would happen if you did that here. It sounds kind of obvious if you think about it. It sounds kind of obvious if you think about it out loud. And I'm sorry to give you sass. I'm sorry to give you sass here, but it is very obvious. You silly, silly man. Okay. Reset damage. Then in terms of the player damage sound timer. Alright, ad break is about to start. We will be back in a few minutes, so hang on tight. And we're back. I never... Wait, which... Oh, wait, oh, because I was on this one. I was on this one! Right. There we go. Right. Okay. So, what's supposed to happen is that when we play the damage sound effect, we are obviously doing it the first time. This is being set to false. Now, it might be because I never set the actual value for the player damage sound reset time. I'm not 100% sure. So we're going to go into the engine again. We'll go back into the player. Yes, I never set this. Okay. Right. I was confused. I was thinking, wait, what's going on? Okay, now that's better. Now to explain why that happens, or why that happened in the first place, where, you know, if I had it, like, why it wasn't resetting the boolean as I wanted it to. Basically, for setting timers, if the value that you set for, like, the delay for a timer handle is 0, I believe, then that causes an issue where it just doesn't run a timer at all. So... Oh, good lord, no, not the Eyes for Ink music. Oh, lord. We'll go Agent 9's Lab. I haven't played this one on stream yet. I do kind of wish I vibed a little bit more with this track, because I do like it, but... Right. So, that's the reason why that happens. Now, in terms of, like, other sound effects, because we've got a good, like, number of the players done already. Now, the question is, because I do want to make an air dash sound effect. That's another thing I want to do before we wrap up stream today. The problem with that is how I go about essentially creating a kind of whoosh sound effect. Like... Whew, sorry. And the reason I say this is because I don't have a thing that can let me naturally do that. Let's create a whoosh sound effect. To be fair, I could just do it with my own voice. I could do it by just blowing air into the microphone or going whoosh or something like that. Or It makes me think of how it's obvious that in... Yeah, Tom, that's just gonna make horrible... Yeah. Think about wind in a mic, yeah. So I'd have to actually just make the noise. Because now that I think about it, I think in some cases in Banjo-Kazooie, I'm pretty sure Rare just, like, did some of the sound effects with their mouths. Unless I'm crazy and thinking that the sound effect they use for when you start flying with Kazooie sounds like a well, ugh, God, that hurts. Or like a sound effect. I don't know. Hmm. Like, it could. It could. Yeah, now I'm sort of like doing it out loud. I can kind of yeah. I don't really know what to advise. Hmm. The only other option I'd say is like flicking some pages, but of course that doesn't come through on like you know, OBS, but that would come through on Audacity. Audacity. Actually, never mind. Idea. Share your idea. Heated man. Oh yeah, no. Do I have anything like that on me? Maybe if you up the gain on a mic and record that. Hmm. Let me think. What item do I have that I can do that with? Where? Wait. Ooh, ouch. I have a fan. I have... Hence gain. I have a thin fan that I could use for this. Thank you. The one time I stopped by like the one stand at Comic-Con back in October 2022 to try out the One Piece card game because I had this fan from back then. And I'm being ultra specific because that's where I got it from. But it's thin enough. So I'm going to make a new project now. Somehow the gusts I am producing, like, I haven't recorded it in Audacity yet, but somehow the gusts I'm producing, by just swinging it like this, is strong enough to move my, you know, my makeshift blanket blind, which is... I don't know if that says anything about how strong like the swings are from me, but Right. Let's see. Let's try this. I don't even think I got it. I don't even think I got it. What the fuck? Hmm. Right. Edit. File. View. Analyze. Tools. Effect. Let me think. Let me think. Right. I may need a different approach. Oh, good lord, I may need to actually have to do this. What is this? Have enough of a whoosh. But this is a bit too heavy-handed to use. Right, okay. Okay, this actually works a bit more consistently. I am having to use one of my cosplay swords. Specifically because it doesn't feel too heavy to use compared to one of the other ones. And I can more consistently get the whoosh sound effect. But I have to swing it away. I have to swing it away from the computer. So in order for me to in order for me to be able to consistently get it to whoosh, one, I have to make sure like I swing it away from like my computer so it doesn't, it has enough room to swing down. And two, like rather than hold it near like where the handguard is, I have to hold it right at the end. I don't know why that is. Maybe because I can put more of my wrist into the swing that way. Is there a hotkey for record? Oh, there is. Right. 1, 2. It got it! It got it! It fucking got it! It got the whoosh! It got the fucking whoosh. It got the whoosh. I should also adjust my mic. Yep, I am planning on doing that. Right, volume. I'm also very loud now. Yeah, I brought my mic closer to my face. Um, so I'm having to adjust things because I actually have it close to my face now. For the longest time in the stream, I had it off to the side, and to be fair, I was wondering why things were a bit quiet for a while, because I was looking at OBS for like the past few streams, so I was thinking to myself, that doesn't seem as loud as I want it to be, and now I realized I was being a bit of a dummy and, you know, not having... Oh, I knocked over my... Ah! I knocked over one of my speakers, but I wasn't having my mic as close to my face as I ought to. So, yeah, that probably explains a bit, like, of why there was, like, some inconsistencies with my audio and stuff. But yes, let us adjust. Okay, so I'm gonna do what I did for like the hit sound effect. I'm gonna take... Wait, hold on. Did I actually... No! I forgot to adjust it! Fuck! That means I need to record it again. For crying out loud, I forgot to adjust it. Oh well. Right, so we know that this works. 1, 2, 3. Oops. Perfect. At the very least, I can sheath the blade. You know what? I think it's pretty neat with cosplay swords having like a bit of a practical application aside from, you know, looking damn cool on cosplay. But yeah, I'm going to take this. I'm going to add a new stereo track again. Make sure that the settings are all set this time because goddamn, I can't believe I forgot. And then paste it. We're going to go into... change pitch. We're going to bring it down an octave. So now that the whoosh has a bit of like a deeper kind of whoosh behind it, I like how it sounds. I like how it sounds. And now if I so wanted to, I could distort it as well, just to see what that does. Right, effect, distortion. I don't think that changed. Okay, that didn't do anything. Okay, I like how that sounds. I like how that sounds. I think. Because you've given it a bit more weight behind it rather than it just being like the only like whoosh. So I will I will save the project. So player air dash draft 1. Export the audio. And now fucking brain. Player sound effects. Once again, player air dash draft 1. Create the sound cue. Player dash underscore cue. Modulator. So we can have like a slight variation in the pitch. And then a slight variation in the volume. And then go back into the player. And then where is the air dash? There it is. Player air dash Q. So now, if we go into the thingamajig, okay, maybe actually not vary the pitch, because to be fair, that just means the modulator is unnecessary. I'll just keep it the same, right? Oh, I did not reconnect. I'm silly. I am silly. Though I could adjust its pitch on the output. Okay, that's a bit too... What the fuck? Okay, so we've got footsteps, we've got jump. No, we don't have a jump. We have footsteps, we have land, we have stomp landing, we have wall jump, we have air dash, and we also have getting hit. Although that could definitely use some work. But I'm pretty happy with like all the sound design that we did today. It took a bit of time to sort of ease into it, figure things out, and also I had to remember how like good ways, or one way of like layering like sound samples and such together. But suffice to say, I'm happy with the progress that was made today. That was only just the player stuff. Like, eventually later down the line, once like proper enemy types are all sort of like finalized and such, it would be possible to just like crack on with making the like the enemy sound effects. But anyway, I'm going to call things there for today. So, to people who showed up, and to everyone watching things back on the VOD, whether it's here on Twitch or on YouTube, depending on when you're watching this, thank you ever so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Next stream, of course, will be tomorrow. We will be continuing Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep Level 1. We have got to continue Aqua's story. I believe... Oh yeah, there's another fight that we need to do in Radiant Garden before we can move on from there. But we'll see what that's all about tomorrow. But yes, thank you ever so much for being here. And as always, I will see you all again in the very next one.